All right, so we'll begin, guys, where this is just going to be, we'll go through an introduction to the course. So I really hope you all had a wonderful holiday and you're feeling very refreshed for the next 9 months. We've got an exciting year of specialist maths ahead of us. So the first thing is we do have a PMI test coming up. I've scheduled it for Thursday, lesson 7 and 8 next week. I'm happy to negotiate that with you, but I think that's going to be ample time given the retreat. Do a bit of study before you go on retreat, today and so forth. And the thing is, we'll talk about content more in a moment, but the thing is, it's not much different from year 11. It just might be there's a bit more complexity with the proofs. And I'll address exactly what I mean when I say that. Just brief conversation before, sounds like the trig proofs are a little bit challenging. In the test, there's only basically 3 possible trig proofs that I'll ask you, so just make sure you're very familiar with those ones. Because otherwise they just get stupid, and you'll know when you're doing the trig, it's all about which is the correct substitution to perform, and you can spend hours trying to find the right one that fits. So I'll only ask you 1 of 3, and I'll show you what those are. Everyone got a textbook, except you 2 fellas?
Oh, yeah.
Now, we'll send you to the library shortly. Haley, got yours? Yep, Jack, Max, excellent. I'll film every lesson. I think we're in here every lesson, which is pretty generous considering there's 5 of us. So we'll be in here every lesson, and I'll film it, put it on the YouTube there, attach it to Sector. I'll just show you Sector quickly as well. So this is our schedule for the term at the moment. We're trying to get the first 3 units done in the term, but on Sector, you'll see the, what should I click on? Online lesson editor. So, today's lesson is we're doing some PMI revision, and it'll be fairly generic. It'll just say that we're revising for a PMI test. The test next Thursday, lesson 7 and 8. All right, if I click on the next unit, polynomials, so it'll have up there what we're doing that lesson, what we're planning on doing, and then that exercise will be for homework and so forth. So Sector's pretty well up to date. I've just copied the course from last time I taught it. It's all there. You refer to Sector, that's where I'll upload the videos to as well. Now, course structure. So we've got 6 tests. It's the exact same as methods, right? There's 6 tests that add up to 50% of your grade. 1 folio task, that's 20% of your grade. And then the external exam, which is marked externally, right at the halfway through term 4. And that's all of the everything. We're assessed on everything there. It's lots of fun, the spec course. I really like all of the units. Like, obviously PMI, it's a nice short, sharp, shiny one. Polynomials, functions and graphs. We're combining a few different things there. Complex numbers we're familiar with. Just on the polynomials and functions and graphs, like a lot of that you would do in year 11 methods in semester 1. And then we're extending that a bit, obviously, in the spec course. Vectors you've talked about before in 2 dimensions. We extend it to 3 dimensions. And vectors is a fat unit. Like, it takes a fair bit of term 2 to get through vectors. From memory, chapter 4 and 5 in the textbook, it's about 150 pages, 100 pages. It's a lot. It's a lot to get through that unit. And that's what our folio task is on, but we will only have 1 test for vectors. Then we have further integration techniques. So you need to do the integration in methods first, and then we can look at integration in spec. That follows on from it. And then the last test is differential equations, which is basically multivariable calculus. It's calculus techniques, but applied to both X and Y at the same time. All right, with OneDrive link, that popped up before. So you're gonna have lots of resources that I'll share with you. And I'm not going to attach anything to Sector lessons, because it's like, oh, what lesson is it attached to? Where is it? Everything's just going to get dumped in here, and I'll keep it nice and tidy. So, for example, we've got PMI test first up. So in here, I've got a folder for tests. So there are lots of tests, right? There's a 2023 one as well. So 2023 all the way back to 2017. So there's tests in there, as well as worked solutions to use as a guide for you. There's an exam question booklet. So one thing I did a couple of years ago is went through all the old spec exams and pulled out every PMI question. Okay, so it shows you pretty well every spec exam, they have at least one PMI question. And what we'll talk about in a moment is how they do the PMI proof, but then there's a little bit more where they test a bit of insight and so forth, and we'll go through an example of that shortly. So we'll have, in the OneDrive, so you can see there, PMI, it's all set out. There's our holiday homework, some worked solutions, not all of them, for the holiday homework. Okay, let's go back. I've got some other stuff in there, like plenty of exams when it comes to exam revision. Extra resources, if there's anything we need, that's where I'll point you. Our folio task notes, we'll refer to those directly from our second unit onwards, because we're pretty familiar with PMI. We don't really need a notes book for that. Just a bunch of old stuff. Got the textbook. Okay, so if you forget your textbook, you can hop in here and look at the e-copy of it, as well as worked solutions. So worked solutions for the textbook, I sort of have 3 conditions of use for them. We won't use them in class because I'm here and there's only 5 of us, unless I say you can. All right, so we won't use them in class. If you use them, then you have to reattempt the question later without the work solutions. And they're used as a guide only, which means you don't just look at it and copy it, you look at it for a prompt. It's a prompt, okay? And then hopefully you're pretty familiar enough to do the rest throughout. But work solutions to the whole textbook in there. If there's anything you want or anything you need, let me know, I can upload it. Like this formula sheet, for instance, this is the one that they give you in the exam. You can bring it to every test. We'll have it on the back of your first PMI test as well. All right, so that's the OneDrive, and then the letter. So the letter that I've got attached here, if I just open that up. So it just says, g'day everyone, welcome back, and here's the plan, and then just expectations. You guys are year 12 now, you know what to do and what I'll do for you and so forth. I'm available in the study centre on Thursday afternoons. We have Spec Maths Thursday, lesson 7, 8, and then I can be in the study centre. If you're planning on going, let me know and I'll make sure I'm there. Also happy to catch up with you anytime. Please communicate with me via email. All right, I think that's a pretty good introduction to the course. Are there any questions about the course in general? All right, very good. Well, I'll stop there and we'll talk about